this is probably the nicest one that I can see when it comes to Japan, the Eurasian plate, the Pacific plate, a subduction zone, a trench, this 9.1 thing, the Philippine Sea plain, and some sort of questionable attachment to the North American plate up to the north here, but quite an active area in here for earthquakes, and little sort of quite solid areas of concern when it comes to faulting, but you'd always have to look at your field if it's a big strong field. My thought really is that when you get into geology and you look at plates and you look at fault lines, it can be perhaps a little bit confusing if you don't look at see this one. I mean, you can just go online and have a look at the fault lines in Japan and the plate tectonics of Japan, and this is your troubled area in here. What sets it off from a marine scientist point of view is water, and where water is, because water's heavy. So if you flood this area here repeatedly and have major floods just west of Japan on the mainland, then you're likely to have trouble at your plate edge, because you've got water landing and then exiting and then going into the hydrology of your coast and going out to sea and flooding into trenches and through elbows and cracks and things like that, and then wetting the soil. So you've got a mobile system that reweights and shifts, and obviously your plate edges are going to be the areas that jostle around and shift as you move water around, and sometimes it can take a month after a flood. For instance, New Zealand, Christchurch, a month after a flood for water to redistribute, and then the plate edge to shift and to move about. Okay, so let's look at this one. 11th of March that we had the 9.1. In February we had the Christchurch earthquake. Before that, a month, we had the Queensland floods, and they have to also, we have a hydrology where these floods enter a coastal system or a plate edge system, almost a continental shelf system with an island on it, which would be the North Tasman Sea, and it takes about a month, as you can see, about a month to 6 weeks, as the water redistributes and all of the muds and silts come off the land and the muddy flood waters and redistribute on quite a shallow sea in New Zealand. And then this is a cluster of events with plate tectonics in 2011. That's not now. In 2011, 2012, we had a lot of melting ice and snow, and that's when the ratios really changed, and then we got all of this activity. But the point for Japan is that it might actually take about a month after flooding in China, or even melt of snow inland and flooding in China, to redistribute weight and then upset the edge, as it could be in New Zealand as well, which we were looking at. If we go into the connection between Japan and Christchurch and Queensland, the Christchurch situation may, at this stage, we think, developed because of polar and southern hemisphere melt, and then it was ticked off after these floods. But that's not the situation now. But there is still a relationship, and it should be noted by people in Christchurch that there's a relationship here. Okay, but that's all. You can't remelt the pole after you've melted it. It's not the same situation as 2011. We've moved on.